Hello friends and greetings for the day. Welcome back to another tutorial on ISTQB Specialist Performance Tester certification. We are in chapter 5 talking about tools and getting into the next segment of it, that is 5.2, Tool Suitability. In our previous tutorial, we explored what sort of tools can be actually used as a part of performance testing, and definitely when it comes to these tool suitability, we are trying to understand that at what point these tools must be applicable and suitable to different activities which we perform during performance testing. And the suitability will be definitely checked with different parameters of meeting the expectations of performance test being conducted. The very first of that parameter is compatibility, where compatibility, of course, stands for being compatible to the right job and making sure that what exactly it is going to do is not having any sort of obstruction with other parts of the execution environment. So we have different parameters to talk about, like compatibility with protocols, interfaces to the external components, and platform, in fact. So let's have a look on these details in more detailed way. In general, a tool is selected for the organization and not only for a project. This means considering the following factor in the organization will be very crucial. For example, protocols. Protocols are a very important aspect of performance tool selection. Understanding which protocols a system uses and which of these will be tested will provide necessary information in order to evaluate the appropriate test tools. Now here, just basically, when you talk about a performance testing tool, you do get by default certain set of protocols well inbuilt within that. It might be more important for an organization to understand that the one which you are trying to test, the application which you're trying to test, is this tool going to support with those set of protocols or not? Because sometimes you are trying to test a mobile application with a certain tool XYZ, and probably you do not have those set of protocols available in the tool which you are looking forward to. So it's not the right tool and being compatible with your job which you want to do. So you may look forward to another tool which supports that set of protocols. Coming to the next one, interfaces to external components. Of course, interfaces to software components or other tools may need to be considered as the part of the complete integration requirement is to meet process or other interoperability requirements as well. That means there might be a lot of other requirements of the tool to be integrated with another tool to capture the events which you perform as a part of performance testing. It could be manually quite difficult. In fact, by having an interoperability between the tools or any external components can definitely lead to minimize a lot of effort. And that's what you generally find in the market. When you talk about a tool, they do have certain special add-ins to integrate to other environments or tools which you're using, for example, test management tools or configuration management tools to control the versions, and a lot many other things. Coming to the platforms, compatibility with the platforms within an organization is essential. The compatibility with the platform here means the operating system which you might be using. And operating system does play a vital role in order to install that software, and what if that software version is not compatible with your platform which you're trying to use for. So this applies to the platform used to host the tools and the platform with which the tools interact for monitoring or load generation. And a lot of these parameters do eject, saying that, okay, I'm not going to work in this platform because this is not something which is built for me. Or probably your application in a platform, I don't interact with such platform ever. So those things need to be considered before selecting the tool as a compatibility check. On the other hand, we do have scalability. Another factor to consider is the total number of concurrent users simultaneously the tool can actually handle. This will include several factors, including maximum number of licenses required, load generation workstation or server configuration requirements, ability to generate load from multiple points of presence. Now, that's from the distributed server point of view. So you do have different tools which caters this, and different tools have different licensing model in terms of number of users. For example, at a certain cost, you do get at least 50 users to run simultaneously. But if you pay more, probably you can get 100,000 users as well. But yeah, sometimes it is seat basis. That means one user of this tool will have to pay a license cost, and every single user who is using this tool, or probably every single user you will be virtually simulating, will be cost or charged to run that test. So a lot of these things are supposed to be considered when you talk about the scalability point of a tool which is going to be used. Similarly, the load generation, whether the tool is capable enough to generate the load or not, which is desired for you, and definitely generate this load from multiple points, like centralized testing. You may run this from multiple servers and want to see that what if people interact from multiple locations to work on the same function, then does it really capable enough to do that or not? So scalability is from the point of the same functionality, can it be scaled further to meet our expectations and goals? Coming to the next slide here, we're talking about the tool suitability again and continuing with the next one, which is understandability. It's very important and crucial that the tool is understandable to the users. Now, another factor to consider is the level of technical knowledge needed to use the tool. You cannot expect a QA, which generally we say that a QA may not be so much familiar with technicality, thus you call them as black box testers, right? And if they are so great with their understanding on the technical things, they can definitely be a part of development zone as well, or development role, in fact. But as we're talking about a core black box QA who is just responsible for interacting with the UI, you may not look forward to a very complex and technical driven tool, which might be difficult for a performance tester to configure, in fact, or run a particular test. That's where the need of understandability comes into picture, that you need to also understand that what is your background and experience or understanding level of performance testers you have. And if they are capable enough or comfortable enough to go with these sort of tools, then you can go ahead. If you think they're completely new, you try to look forward to more user-friendly tool so that they find it more efficient to use it during the journey of performance testing. Now, this is often overlooked and can lead to unskilled testers incorrectly configuring tests, which in turn provide inaccurate results. That can also happen if you're looking for a more complicated tool at cheaper price, but your team doesn't find it understanding. So they may lead to create wrong instances or wrong configuration, which in turn will lead into a wrong result. For testing requiring complex scenarios and a high level of programmability and customization, team should ensure that the testers has the necessary skills, background, and training provided. So not only background is considered here, sometimes you think if a little bit of a ramp up or mentoring or probably a training can help them to understand the tool, you do organize such things to make them understand. Coming up to the next one, which is monitoring as another option to support with the tools. So is the monitoring provided by the tool sufficient? Are there other monitoring tools available in the environment that can be used to supplement the monitoring by tool? Can the monitoring be correlated to defined transactions? Or all these questions must be answered to determine if the tool will provide the monitoring required by the project or not. When it comes to monitoring tool, it is really important for making sure that these are the key areas for you to summarize up your outcomes. As far as they give you the accurate and appropriate results, you can say that this is what the outcome of testing is all about. But if they don't give you the appropriate outcomes, either you will be reporting something wrong, which is not feasible or not acceptable. Probably you might be not aware of that, what you're actually reporting. So making sure that these matrices are playing a vital role again in terms of making sure that everything is going to be given to you, what you need in order to report the performance outcomes. Putting it all together, when monitoring is a separate program or tool or whole stack, then it can be used to monitor production environment when the product is released. So if it is an independent option within your performance tool, or if it is used as a different separate tool altogether, then it can also be used to monitor the progress or performance parameters on the production environment as well. So that was all to talk about the tool suitability for the performance testing. And I think that's with the last topic of this particular series, in fact. But yes, you will be having sample questions coming up later today to go through and understand this. So that's all from this particular tutorial, team. Should you have anything else, feel free to comment below. I'm always there to address your queries and answer them well. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring, keep understanding the context. Thanks for watching the video, team. and happy learning.